Boom! Welcome to PMP Success Secrets with Scott. This is the third installment of my Backstage Pass special for you into my live hard PMP questions made easy calls. Now, you're going to learn a ton in this call. I want you to laser focus down, think about the process, the way the students are solving them, and the way in which we are going back and forth, me and the students, the way I'm, boom, pestering with the right kind of questions to challenge their beliefs, to build them up. Now, the best way to solve problems, the best way to get good at solving problems is to verbalize it out, to follow a process and to say the words out loud. It's got to be yours, this PMP. The question solving has got to be based on your logic and it's got to be repeatable. That is what we're doing in this call. If you follow the logic, you can see the path. So keep going into it, learn a lot. And if you want to get into a call like this, why don't you just reach out to me, Scott at pmmasterprep.com, or go to pmmasterprep.com, hit that button and apply for the Accelerator, or call me, 757-759-5282. All right, let's do that. Let's get into the call. You're going to love it. Let's learn something. As the world turns, Darcy and Farah, please help.
Okay, so this one is, what should the project manager do?
Yep.
And during user testing, a client agreed to a final product. A few days later, the client is reconsidering their agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys are usually going through and figuring out what part of the project you're in.
Yeah, so like what should the project, so here's the process. And like in the course now, there is a like detailed, it's called Hard Questions Made Easy module that really goes super in depth in like the thought process, what we go through. So first thing we do is read the last sentence, like what should you do? So that's like, what is that saying? Like looking ahead or looking behind or looking now? Like which direction is it forcing our eyes to look?
I would say forward.
Forward. So like what are we doing next? Sweet.
Yeah.
Then we go back. This is a short one, and we try to figure out what the context is. Like, what's the issue? So take that away. Explain it to me. Just your words, not mine.
Well, it sounds like this is kind of near the end of the project, or you're near the end of the execution kind of phase.
Yep.
And you're getting into kind of a quality control issue or project quality question.
Okie dokie. And what happened? Like I forgot how to read or listen, but it's back. It's back.
Yeah,
the reading's gone, the listening's here. What happened? Like
during testing, the client agreed to a final product so that during the testing phase it was signed off and all good. Then a few days later he reconsidered and it says, "Oh, I don't like this product anymore."
Oh no.
Sounds like.
Oh no. So it's like buyer's remorse or something like that. Okay, I assume this happens occasionally with things.
Yeah, this sounds like a legal problem here.
All right, so call up the lawyers, I guess, or what would we do? What would you do? And have we prepared for this? Don't look at the answers. Do you think we've prepared for this potentially?
I would think that this would be part of the contract.
Okay.
Original
if it's
contract,
an
I would think there should be some.
Sure, in the contract there'd be stipulations in there that. Like, what would we write in there? Like, once you say it, you can't take it back, or would we have some other kind of details?
Depending on what is going on, like you'd think, depending on how complicated that product is, like if it takes 6 months to build and he signs off on it, and then 2 days later says, "Oh, I changed my mind," then you have to go back 6 months and rebuild it. Then that seems unreasonable. So you'd want to have that clause pretty strict. So once it's signed off, it's done. Well,
okay. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, depending on how complex that product is, would change the agreement a little bit. But.
Okay, dokie. So we go back and look at the agreement and something on the agreement. All right, cool. Yeah. And then if it's an internal project, we might have to figure out, like, if we don't have a legal contract, what are we going to do?
Well, we would have to assess the impact on the overall project, I guess, in terms of cost schedule, I would say.
So if it's so you're saying that if it's a big deal,
yeah,
we're not gonna listen to them. If it's a little deal, we'll do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Do that maybe in there. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just go through A.
All
let's
right.
go through A. Well, or hold on. Before this, we're going to real life land. you deliver some, or you show, the customer this thing, they say, "Ooh, love it." And then they say, "I don't love it," the next day. What are you doing? Real person land. What are you doing?
I would want to try to understand what they don't love about it, I guess.
Okay.
And whether what they don't love is a little thing that can be fixed easily or a major thing that needs a full rework.
Okay. All right, cool. Let's go to through A, please.
Okay. Review the project acceptance criteria. I would say that sounds good initially.
Okay. What do you like about it? What is the acceptance criteria? I'm not familiar with the term. Is it a real term, or is it that's a made up thing?
Well, I guess I understand what the words mean, but I don't know if it fits within the
Okay, it's real. It's
the
real.
PMI words.
It's real. It's real.
Okay.
It's a real thing. And
Okay.
so what do you think's on that? Like, what do you think's on the acceptance criteria?
I would think it would be, whatever aspects this product has, it has to check off certain boxes to make it acceptable.
And why would we spend our time? When would we develop it? Early, late, after
Early.
everything's done? When?
Early, like in
Okay. Early.
I would say project scope definition pretty well.
Right around there, yeah. And why would we do it?
Because that scope or that product needs to satisfy the charter.
Mm-hmm. And we know that later we're dealing with humans, and humans might what?
Change their mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we want to look back on an unchanged. And you need to
document those things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. You like A or no?
I think at some point you need to review that criteria. Yes, I like that one.
Sweet. Let's hang on to it. Let's go to B. Maybe B's better.
B, refer to the project's quality management plan. So I kind of like that one, and you may refer to that one as well, because it seems to me that one, you'd want to make sure that through the whole process that quality management plan was being followed to make sure that final product meets all of the criteria.
Okay. And it might tell like the process by which we're going to get approval and check quality and all that stuff. So, okay. So, like
so that was okay, but it's maybe it may be a secondary part of the whole process, I would say.
Okay, I can dig it.
Like
so we hang on to it, but it's not like the best one in our brains. Okay, go to C, please.
Okay, review the requirements documentation. Seems to me that one's not very specific, and that project acceptance criteria is more specific.
They're both real things. Requirements documentation is a real thing. It is a real thing.
Okay.
And anybody want to tell them, like, so cool. Anybody want to tell them who's it? Farah, you want to tell them what requirements documentation is, whatever? Ding dong. She might not be able to say it. Anybody else want to jump in? Feel free to unmute and talk it out.
Isn't requirement documentation basically all of the components to what is needed to verify a deliverable?
Yeah, like, so it's going to be super detailed, like all the requirements. It's going to like break them down like from left to right. All the details are about it. So it's going to be long in a sense of all.
Right. So, I mean, even though A says acceptance criteria, there's really no something that's called that. So if you want to replace it, it's almost like those are the criteria pieces. You could almost call it the requirement criteria document in a way.
Yeah, and so there's going to be more than just acceptance criteria on the requirements documentation. There's going to be other things on there, but if we think about it as an Excel document, left to right, one of the columns might be acceptance criteria. Like, getting this done, like, by what are we making this decision? Like, it smells good, it looks good. Like, no, there are objective, hopefully, criteria by which we can accept XYZ, like the actual requirements. But requirement documentation is like the detailed, got everything.
So it's like a checkpoint, like where you're checkboxing. to make sure that every single one is completed.
I believe you're thinking about requirements traceability matrix. That's like where, our deliverables and our requirements like meet up. This is like, we're gonna have a lot of things that we're trying to deliver here. All the requirements, we're gonna have all the details related to them, of which one of the details is potentially the acceptance criteria for that. So it's just gonna be a comprehensive, if you will, list.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, dokie. Back to Darcy. What do we think about C?
I think that one's not bad too, because if it includes that acceptance criteria, it probably also includes other things that would define whether that
other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And okay, so let's go to D. So we're hanging on to C as well.
Yeah. D is refer to the project's project charter. I don't think that is necessarily in question right now. So I'm not really, I don't think that one applies right now.
Okay. Is it, why does it apply? Because you're correct. I just want to understand why it doesn't apply necessarily.
Well, the issue is really with the product acceptance, which is kind of the product needs to be accepted to complete the project, which is defined in the charter. But this question is more relating to I guess that acceptance or quality control part of it.
Okay.
Project charter is so much bigger or broader.
Yeah, and it's higher level, right?
Higher
so
level,
we might not know. Remember the last question we did where we were like, we're working through the deliverables? We could have an idea of what we're delivering, but we got to get through the granularity and really nail down in the baseline what we're delivering. And from that, off that bottom line, like boom, this is what we're delivering, comes the details related to what how they're going to say yes or no, objectively, not subjectively.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So we're down to I think it's A, B, and C. Is that what you're down to?
I think so. Well, and then I'm just thinking that it doesn't really say, like we've produced a final product, and I don't know if you assume that product has met all of the criteria and all of the requirements to be called a final product, and it doesn't really say why this client is reconsidering it. Sure. I guess the trick is if this product meets all of the requirements, then there's not much you can do for him, seems to me.
Okay, therefore?
So I would say C then.
Oh, okay. So you would get to C. Okay. Because it's a bigger document with more details on it, or what?
Yeah, because there's more.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Farah, I think you're on A. Can you do audio?
Yes, I accept A. I see that as a project manager, you have to focus on the quality cost. You have to check it if it's good or bad, high or low. You have to check the satisfying of the customer itself, what they need exactly. This is my conclusion about the answer.
Okay, and so when they come back to you and say, I know I agreed to it, but I just had second thoughts and I just really like to do it differently. I think we've learned a lot. We got a better idea what the customer wants, and why don't we let's just start again. Let's just redo it. Come on, it's going to be better for America or the world, wherever you're living in the world. Could they sway you that way, or what does the acceptance criteria tell them that no, we can't do that? What do you think, Farah?
Focusing on the quality itself, I don't know.
Okay, so you're focused on quality. If you've delivered what you said you were going to deliver, then that's it, right?
And he agreed to it. He signed off on it. Yeah.
Yeah, he signed off on it. Agreed to it the first time on this is the acceptance criteria. Agreed to it the second time that they liked it, and then I'm sorry you got cold feet now. I apologize. It's too bad. I don't apologize, but it's too bad. Okay, so we're good on what? A?
I think A.
Darcy?
Yeah.
Anybody else have any other opinions? If I told you A was wrong, what would you say?
I think it's C.
Okay.
I would say C.
You're going to let me push you off an answer just because I said it was wrong.
I would say C is the answer to your second question.
Yeah, C is your if you told us A was wrong.
If I can't have A, I'm going C.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm just joking. I just wanted to see if you guys would like be pushed off an answer. So stick to your answers. Yeah. If I told you, you're right. Yeah, my second question was if I told you it was wrong. You're right. So that's like the second best one. That's where we could get it. You're right. That's a good one. I was just playing around. But yes, acceptance criteria is very, very, like we talked about. You guys nailed it down just by logic to say we want to understand exactly what we're delivering, and even if we get cold feet, new ideas, whatever, maybe a new sponsor comes in and says, I know this past person said this, I'm the new guy or girl, this is what I want. You'd be like, hey, that's great and all, but this is what we agreed to. The baselines are all defined around it. The contracts are defined around it. This is how we objectively said it. Like the tests prove we met it. I mean, there we go. And so like if they wanted to make changes and do something bigger, better, different, how would we do that at that point? That's a legitimate question. How would we do it? Darcy.
Management a change.
Yeah, we do a change request. We'd say, because all it is money. Just give us more of it and we can do it. And so like, we'll put a change request in, we'll get it approved. Let's get this funded and we'll go on. Like,
sure.
Without that, I don't have a ticket to do anything. Like, that's the way it goes. So sweet. Good job. All right, Farah, take it, and back to Sandra.
What should the project manager do first? Although the sponsor and the project team says that the new project has an accurate budget and a realistic schedule, the project manager worries that the unplanned event could threaten the project's success. What should the project manager do first? A. Engage the identification of a project risk, then associate those risks. I will choose that one, but maybe not sure about that one.
What do you like about it?
They assess those risks. They identify the project risk. This part. The engagement identify part. I don't know, but it seems like realistic for me.
Should we not just trust? It says like you're new as a project manager to the question, right? Like, you're new. The sponsor and the team say that you got enough budget, you got a reasonable and realistic schedule. Why are you worried, Laura? Like, shouldn't you just be doing your job? Like, why would you go in and look for risks? If they say it's good, why would you go look for risk?
To make sure there's nothing going wrong in the future or the next process.
Okay. And so you say like to them, I know you tell me this is great, but I just want to do my due diligence and I want to go out there and look for risk and make sure, because something in my heart and I think something, I'm worried about something and I got to go take a look at it. All right. So if that's the logic behind A, I can support it a little bit. So that's cool. All right, let's go to B, please.
Okay. Ask the project sponsor for additional funding to cover project planning. For me, I'm not going to involve the sponsor for this position. No, I'm going to wait for not this. I'm not going to ask the sponsor.
Not going to ask the sponsor because it's not that big of a deal, or you don't want to get more money.
Yeah, it's not this part. Yeah, this part's not. What do you call it? Not need the sponsor to get involved in the situation right now.
Okay.
Maybe another steps, but not this step.
Mm-hmm. And if we did need him for money at this point, would we go to the sponsor for additional funding?
Maybe, but there is another solution for this one before the project sponsor.
What is that solution?
You can say you have to. I don't know. I don't know at that point, but there is something, but I don't know what is it.
Do you think we have baselines or not in the project?
Yeah,
So you
maybe. I
yes
don't
or
know.
no?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And
Yes.
then
Yeah.
I can dig it. And so if we have schedule costs, whatever baseline, scope baselines, if we wanted to get more funding, where would we go? What's the mechanism for getting it?
We check our budget, our first plan budget, if it's not over
We got
cost
money to
or
use it or what? On new stuff?
no, for the additional cost. If
Okay. Okay, cool. So all right, so we might be careful when you're doing great. When we get additional funding later in the project, if we don't have money allocated to certain things and it's not a risk that we're planning or we're just allocating to, then change request is usually the neighborhood. So B is not right, but I just wanted to go a little bit deeper. So C, what are you thinking?
schedule a meeting with the funder management to address the potential impact of unplanned risk. I can do with this. Yeah, this is reasonable.
Okay, so you're going to go talk to
Yeah.
someone and say, hey, what about these risks? How can we deal with them? Stuff like that.
Yes.
All
I can
right, so
go with
C, let's
this.
hang on to it. That seems like we're going to try to
Okay.
understand more. We're going deeper, trying to bring people in. Okay, that seems reasonable. Cool.
D. Execute the project plan and recognize the additional project fund. Meet the request as a later point in the project. I don't know about that one.
Because why not?
But you execute the plan and recognize the additional fund. I don't know. I don't know about the last one.
The last part of the last one, recognize that additional funds must be requested at a later
Yeah.
point. Okay.
Why are you putting the point as a last for later? Not. I don't know how to say it, but
Yeah, if we have a problem now, let's deal with it now, right? Like,
yeah. Why you made it later? Yeah.
yeah, okay. And then execute
So-
the project as planned. It's just saying like keep going forward and like we'll deal with the issues later. Okay, doesn't seem like the most proactive thing to do potentially, or dealing with the issue, potential risk. You're talking about risks.
Yes, you can see this.
Okay, dokie. What are you down to? A and C, maybe?
Yes. For me, I'm gonna go with A.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with A.
What do you not? What do you prefer in A over C? Like, what about C is not the greatest in your mind?
I guess it should be done throughout the project, not later on.
Okay.
The A point.
All right. Cool. A, yeah. Engage in identification and then reassess. Then assess those risks. Yeah. All right. So A's a little more general. I don't know who's the functional manager they're talking about. Have we been introduced to a functional manager at this point?
No.
Yeah, I don't know who they are.
No,
It's
no.
cool. All right. So far as on A, Sandra, thoughts?
I agree with her. I think A is the answer. And, you're at this time, it's kind of pie in the sky. You're not really sure exactly if these are real threats. You're worried about them, but they're not. I mean, I shouldn't say the word real. They're things that could happen, and there's a lot of things that could happen. So you don't want to pull in a meeting for every single thing that you're worried about or concerned about, nor the sponsor, of course. And I don't think you need to execute any plans because there's nothing that we've set up yet. We haven't planned anything. We haven't actually said, here are the real risks that we're worried about. At this point, they're just things that are potential, and we want to identify them and make sure that they're on our radar.
Okay. All right, sweet. And so you both are an A. Let's see if it's right.
I am.
There you go. Hold on, I got to click on the right screen. Yay. So it is right. So basically this question restated. Great job working through it. You show up, the sponsor and the project team say, man, we got a great thing for you. We got adequate budget. We got realistic schedule. Just go off and work, please. Now, what we I guess we could take the assumption is, but they haven't mentioned that, hey, these are the issues that we predict could happen. Here's how we've planned for them. Here's how we've dealt with them. They're just saying we have a realistic schedule. Okay, that seems realistic. But the project manager worries that instead of unplanned events, maybe if we replace those unplanned events with risks, the project manager worries that risks could threaten the project's success. All right, so we got to understand, do we have a process for this? Have we evaluated risks? Where are they? Are they built into the schedule and all these different things? Do we have approaches for it? Money laid aside, all that jazz. And so what should the project manager do first? I would like to, but if I was going to write a better answer, I'd probably understand how risks were incorporated into schedule and budget. That would be interesting. Instead of just going off and identifying risks. So if we were going to do an answer E, I would want to understand if you think that risks are negative or out there, they're going to hurt us. Let's go understand what the deal is and then go to those. But I do like this as the best-ish answer. Engage in the identification of risks, which is unplanned events, and then assess those risks and work them into the process and get ready and have our approaches defined. So really great job, all of y'all. Went through a couple questions and super. So that is good. That is it for today. I really, really appreciate it. And we will see you next week. Go to your coaching calls.